Exactly 10 years ago, I left my country, India, to chase my dreams. While leaving, I told my friend, and I remember this very clearly. So I told him that I'm going to US to do my higher studies. As soon as after finishing my studies, I'm going to land up in a big pharma company and then climb up my ladder up to the higher position and somehow convince the founder of the company to open a new location in India and come back as a CEO. That was a plan. I don't know why I said that, but back then, I clearly remember this and I thought I have a perfect blueprint on my hand for success. And for a long time, I chased it. I got my degrees, worked hard, worked insanely hard, and kept telling myself, this is it. I just need to push myself a little bit more forward to achieve my dreams. Looking back, I realized I never questioned why I even wanted that dream to be in the first place. And that's where everything hit me so bad. See, as kids, we don't overthink our interests. We just do what we love to do. If you love playing games, you play. If you like telling stories, you make up some stuff in your head and keep telling people about those stories. But the moment we become adults, everything changes. It's no longer what we enjoy, it's no longer what we like, it's about what's realistic, what makes money, and what makes you successful. I actually loved doing research, I loved learning things. But when I think back to my childhood, I don't remember saying that I wanted to become a CEO of. To be honest, I don't even know what is a pharma company is at the time. That was my dream. That was a version of the dream that I created in my head, looking at the people who are very successful in them. And you know what? That's a scary part. Sometimes we don't even think, we don't even realize we are chasing a dream that is not even really ours. And I remember this sometime back in 2017. I came across this guy on YouTube. His name is Simon Sinek. I know a lot of people know about him. He's a very popular guy who advocated the power of why, and he wrote many books like Start with Why. And so I came across his TED talk, I guess, and after that I also went and bought his book. This is the book, Start with Why. And in one of his TED talks, he said, if you know your why, everything else will fall into the place. And I thought I already know my why, the big CEO of the pharma company and love research, studying. And I convinced myself this is my why, and that's why I'm doing all of this, even though they're pretty hard. But even though when I knew my why, I thought maybe the problem was my how. Maybe I needed a different job, a different approach, a different place. So I kept making changes, moving to different place, different country, studying different degree and trying new things. But every time it felt like I was slightly tweaking the same script instead of writing a new one. That's when it hit me. Maybe I wasn't lost because I didn't have a why. Maybe I was lost because I didn't know how to achieve this why. And I didn't even realize my why had changed. So one day I was talking to my friend and I asked myself, and we were discussing about the passion, how to find your passion, how to find your why, and he's also facing the same struggle. After that conversation, I asked myself, before all the degrees, before all the career plans, what was the thing that I really kept coming back? And the answer was very clear. It was not research, because I was not a research student since, my childhood. And the answer was very strange to me. It was actually stories. I've always been obsessed with stories, movies, conversation. I like listening to people talking. I like reading autobiography. I like knowing about people and their story and where they came from. And that's when it hit me. Maybe it was just a how, and maybe my real why was always there, somewhere hiding in the plain sight. But even then I struggled. Maybe research wasn't my why. So I love storytelling. How do I tell stories? Do I make movies? Do I make short stories? Do I write books? Or do I go to stand up comedy and do, entertain people? So every time I picked how to achieve this why, I felt like I was just copying someone else how, someone else process. And that's when I realized, start with why. This book, Start with Why, is only half the answer, whatever you're looking for. So here's the thing, knowing why is really great, but if you don't understand how to achieve this why, it's meaningless. See, your how is actually what it makes real. I think maybe that's why a lot of people feel stuck even though they found their passion. It's not that they don't know whether their why, it's that they don't know how to make it theirs. Let me give an example. Let's say there are two people that love storytelling, like me. So one guy wanted to become a filmmaker. So he chose a different path, writing scripts or working under somebody, or, making his short movies, and he became a filmmaker. And the other guy, he wanted to become a stand-up comedian. So if you notice here, it's the same why of telling stories, but the process they chose to tell stories, the how, the part is different. And that's what I'm figuring out right now. So, this channel, this is my kind of an experiment to figure out what is my how to achieve my why. And until I find the right process and right how of my own, I keep making videos until I find the true fit for me. So, if you're feeling lost, maybe it's not because you don't know why. Maybe it's because you haven't found your how that's truly yours. And I want to explore that here together. If you ever felt this way, tell me in the comments whether you actually found your why and are you sure you found the right how. That's it for today and see you tomorrow.